Happy Tuesday, period 5. Be sure to do your daily check-in for your attendance. For announcements, be sure if you have any missing work that you've completed, watch the FAQ video under frequently asked questions in Google Classroom. Number 2, if you've been absent or if you are planning to be absent, be sure to keep track of the weekly agenda so that you don't fall behind. I also offer extra support on Thursdays for Algebra 2 from 8:35 in the morning to 9:15. Be sure to email me if you would like to attend, and I will send you the meet link. This is our agenda for this week. So today we're going to wrap up Unit 1 by going over some z-scores and percentiles. Tomorrow we're going to review for our first quiz. Thursday you're going to be taking your quiz, and Friday we're going to review it. To warm up, let's go ahead and work on this IQR rule problem. The following dot plot shows the number of emails that Alejandro deleted each day. Each dot represents a different day. Here is the 5-number summary for these data. So we have our minimum, quartile 1, our median, quartile 3, and our maximum. So according to the IQR rule for outliers, how many outliers are there in the data set? So be sure to look at your notes and recall how to find the IQR, which is taking quartile 3 minus quartile 1. Recall how to find low outliers. We take quartile 1 minus 1.5 times the IQR. And how to find high outliers. Take quartile 3 plus 1.5 times the IQR. So let's find low outliers first. Let's start by finding the IQR. So we take 5 minus 2 because quartile 3 is 5 and quartile 1 is 2, and you should get 3. So to find low outliers, we take quartile 1, which is 2, minus 1.5 times the IQR, which we calculated right here. Be sure that you multiply 1.5 times 3 first, and you should get 4.5. So now we have 2 minus 4.5. Now we can subtract, and you get negative 2.5. Then you can ask yourself, are there any dots or values less than negative 2.5? Well, this number line doesn't even venture off into the negatives, and we can also see that our minimum is 1, which is bigger than negative 2.5, so no, there are no low outliers. Now on to high outliers. First off, our IQR, which is 5 minus 2, it is the same one that we calculated for low outliers. So now for high outliers, we're going to take quartile 3, which is 5, plus 1.5 times the IQR, which is 3. We're going to first multiply 1.5 times 3 and get 4.5. Now we can add 5 to 4.5 and you should get 9.5. Now you can ask yourself, are there any dots or values greater than 9.5 in our set of data? And if this is 9, I don't see any dots greater than 9.5. And you can also see in our 5-number summary that our maximum is 9, which is smaller than 9.5. So no, there are no high outliers. So now we can answer the question. No, there are no outliers. Now let's go ahead and get started on our lesson for today. So take out your notebook, get a pen, get a highlighter and a colored pen, and here we go. What is a percentile? So this is a definition for a percentile. The percent of values that are less than the data value. The percent of values that are less than the data value. Be sure to add this to your notes. So here's a scenario. How did Marty do on his quiz relative to his peers? So here are the recent quiz scores in percent form. So keep in mind, this is 55%, this is 57%, 59%, 60%, and so on. They gave us the mean, so the mean is 80%, and the standard deviation is 10. Remember, standard deviation means, on average, how far away you are from the mean. So our first practice problem. Biff scored a 60 on the quiz. What percentage of the scores are less than 60? So number 1, start by counting how many values are less than 60. That'll get us started. So identify 60 in our set of data. How many values are less than 60? 1, 2, 3. 3 values are less than 60. Now take that value, which is 3, and divide it by the total number of values. How many values do we have in total in our set of data? Well, we have 20 values total in our data, and there are 3 values that are less than 60. When we divide them, we get 0.15. The way we turn that into a percent is by taking our decimal and moving it to the right 2 decimal places. So 15%. 15% of our values are less than 60. Here's another practice problem. Marty scored a 90 on the quiz. What percentage of the scores are less than 90? Well, here's 90. How many scores are less than 90? Hopefully you counted 18. 18 values are less than 90. Now take that value and divide it by the total number of values. So 18 divided by 20. 20 is our total number of values. 18 represents the value. That's how many values are less than 90. To change that to a percent, move the decimal over 2 times to the right, and you get 90%. So 90% of our values are less than 90. So here's a new definition. What is a z-score? A z-score is the number of standard deviations above or below the mean. So recall, the standard deviation is on average how far away the data values are away from the mean. So let's practice. How far away from the mean is Biff's score of 60, and in what direction? Well, the first thing we can do is locate the mean on a number line. Now we can ask ourselves, how far away is 60 from the mean? Well, 60 represents Biff's score. And Biff's score is 20 units below the mean. So here's the mean, and here's Biff's score. And Biff's score is below the mean, and specifically 20 units below the mean. Now, how many standard deviations is 60 away from the mean? So we're going to locate the mean again on our number line. How far away is 60 from the mean? Well, we know from the previous slide that Biff's score is 60, and it's 20 units. So what is the standard deviation? Keep in mind, they gave us the mean and they gave us the standard deviation. So the standard deviation is 10. Now divide 20 by 10, and this is how we find the standard deviation. So 20 divided by 10 is 2, so 2 standard deviations. So Biff's score of 60 is 2 standard deviations below the mean. So let's work with Marty's score of 90. How far away from the mean is Marty's score of 90 and in what direction? So the first thing we're going to do is locate the mean. So how far away is 60 from the mean? And this should be 90. So Marty's score, which is 90, so cross this out, this should be 90. So how far away is 90 from the mean? Marty's score of 90 is 10 units above the mean. Now, how many standard deviations is 90 away from the mean? So first locate the mean and locate 90. So how far away is 90 from the mean? What is the standard deviation? Now divide 10 by 10 to get how many standard deviations. And now above or below the mean. So Marty's score is 1 standard deviation above the mean. So how far away from the mean is 87 and in what direction? So now it's your turn. It is 7 units above the mean. How many standard deviations is 87 away from the mean? 7 out of 10 equals 0.7 standard deviations above the mean.